My dear little boy, do you see this New Jersey? Do you see the New Jersey map? Do you see these pins on the map? Each one represents a family chosen for relocation. Now look at the map of the whole country. See all the pins there? Those represent the location to which each New Jersey family has been assigned. Making these assignments involves the cooperation of many, many people in this office in the Washington headquarters and in the state to which each family is moving. The biggest and most important corporations in New Jersey are relocating employees in a partnership with Homestead 42, and so much more planning, much, much more than you can begin to imagine, has gone into all this. And of course, no decision is made by any one person. But even if it was, and I were that person, and I could do something to keep you near your friends and your school, I would continue to think that you, for one, are going to benefit enormously by becoming something more than another Jewish child whose parents have made him too frightened ever to leave the ghetto. Look what your family has done to Sandy. You saw your brother in New Brunswick that night. You saw him talking to all those people about his adventure on the tobacco farm. Do you remember that night? She asked me. Weren't you proud of him? Yes. And did it sound as though living in Kentucky was frightening, and that Sandy was ever for a moment afraid? No. Here, having reached into her desk for something, she got up and came around again to where I was sitting. Her pretty face, with its large features and thickly applied makeup, suddenly looked to me preposterous, the carnal face of a ravenous mania, to which, in my mother's judgment, her emotional younger sister had helplessly fallen prey. To be sure, for a child in the court of Louis XIV, the ambitions and satisfactions of such a relative would never have attained the same intimidating aura of significance that Aunt Evelyn's did for me, nor would the worldly advancement of a cleric like Rabbi Bengelsdorf have seemed the least bit scandalous to my parents, were they themselves raised at a court of a marquis and a marchioness. Probably I couldn't have done any worse. I might well have done a lot better, seeking solace from the two nuns on the Lyons Avenue bust and from someone reveling in the pleasures of the standard petty corruptions that proliferate wherever people compete for even the tiniest advantages of rank. Be brave, darling. Be a brave boy. Do you want to sit on the front stoop of Summit Avenue for the rest of your life? Or do you want to go out into the world like Sandy did and prove that you are as good as anyone? Suppose I'd been afraid to go to the White House and meet the president because people like your father say things about him and call him names. Suppose I'd been afraid to go around. Suppose I'd been afraid to meet the foreign minister because they call him names. You cannot go around being afraid of everything that isn't familiar to you. You cannot grow up to be frightened like your parents. Promise me you won't. I promise. Here, she said, I have a treat for you. And she handed me one of two little cardboard packets that she had been holding in her hand. I got this for you at the White House. I love you, sweetheart, and I want you to have it. What is it? An after-dinner chocolate. It's chocolate wrapped in gold paper. And you know what's embossed right on the chocolate? The presidential seal. Here's one for you, and if I give you Sandy's, will you bring it to him for me? Okay. This is what's on your table at the White House at the end of the meal. Chocolates in a silver dish. And the moment I saw them there, I thought of the two boys in the world I most want to make happy. I got up, clutching the chocolates in my hand. Aunt Evelyn put her arms tightly around my shoulder and walked me out past all the people working for her and into the corridor where she pressed the button for the elevator. What is Selden's last name? She asked me. Wishnow? And he's your best friend? How could I explain it? That I couldn't bear him. And so at last I lied and said, yes, he is. And since my aunt did indeed love me and was not herself lying when she said she wished to make me happy, only a few days later, after I'd finally disposed of the White House chocolates by waiting until no one was around and throwing them over the orphanage fence, Mrs. Wishnow received a letter from the Metropolitan informing her that she and her family were fortunate enough to have been chosen to move to Kentucky as well. And that is where we will pause.